I originally wanted to do this video outside. I had my camera all set, I had my microphone, was putting on my coat, I walked outside, and it was pouring rain. So it's 2026 now. For me, specifically, it's a bit of a tipping point. I'm hitting 60 this year. Big numbers doesn't really mean a hell of a lot to me, but it's a tipping point for me, I guess, from a milestone perspective. But 2026 feels like a tipping point more on a global scale. Do you feel it? I mean, I feel it, not just because of my own personal milestone coming up this year, but I feel that there's a definite air of change coming in 2026. Now, I have no idea why. I just know that there's something happening in 2026 that seems to be we're on the verge of change or something along those lines. Now, personally, on my YouTube channel, I've been struggling to find a solid niche. I thought I had it nailed down, and I was edging towards something I was unaware of. I was leaning towards time, trying to get people to understand that their time is finite, understand that wasting your time is not very good. Wasting your time is literally wasting your life. So that's what I thought my channel was about, but I'm leaning more towards wage slavery nowadays, escaping the 9 to 5. I find myself struggling to stay away from that topic rather than just embracing it. So 2026 is going to see me as a wage slave escape advocate. Time factors into the whole wage slavery thing anyways. I mean, if you're wasting your time in a job that you don't appreciate, or a job that makes you stress on a Sunday because you got to start on a Monday. This all factors into where I was going anyways, but I'm putting more of a fine point on my YouTube channel in 2026. And again, focusing on wage slavery and escaping the 9 to 5. A while ago, I'll say, let's say 5 years ago. It's probably a little bit longer than 5 years ago. But about 5 years ago, I I started noticing that my perspective had changed. What do I mean by that? My perspective was basically go do your job, do what's expected of you, get the paycheck, come home, and live with that the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's been, that's the way it's supposed to be. But for some reason, my tolerance has changed. I don't appreciate the process, the system. I don't see it as beneficial anymore. I see it as detrimental. I actually feel like my life is slipping away from me. And again, it might be because of the milestone this year, becoming 60. But I don't think so. For me, I've never been uh, aware that there was a system to begin with. So I consider about 5 years ago to be an awakening of sorts. I don't see it any other way. So basically, what I'm saying here is you can't unsee it. Once you see that there's a system in place, it's abusing you, it's consuming you, it's literally wasting your life. You can't unsee it. And to put that genie back in the bottle is just impossible. So what do you do with that information? I mean, seriously, you've got this big monster staring you in the face that all of a sudden you can't tolerate the system you've been part of for 40 some odd years. Okay, I've been working since I was 19 years old. I never even considered anything other than go to work, collect a paycheck, do your things. You know, you lived your life on the weekends and in the evenings, and every now and then, if you're really lucky, you get a vacation. That's the way I've been living my life, and that's the way I was programmed, I guess. But I didn't look at it in any other way other than that's the way it was. This is what you have to do to survive. With the advent of the internet, noticing that things has transpired from information to economy. Things like YouTube, things like Amazon, these things when the internet first started weren't around. But now these are multi-billion dollar companies. And people are becoming millionaires all the time utilizing this new digital economy. For people like me who are in our 60s who saw the entire progression, we went from understanding that the internet was entertainment and information to, hey, you can make a living through the internet. That was an entirely different thing that we weren't ready for. We noticed the internet come around. It was kind of entertaining, but for the most part, we watched the TV and away we went. Myself, I'm a technically minded person. So when this revolution came along, I jumped all over it. I've been on the computer since bulletin boards were prevalent. When the internet wasn't even a thing yet, I was sharing information and accessing other people's computers and bulletin boards at that time. And I haven't stopped. This YouTube channel and all my equipment that you see around here or don't see around here is all part of my learning. I never stop learning. I enjoy the process of learning new technical skills, but I've never applied them to make my life better. I never saw the need. It was an entertainment thing, it was an interest thing. Now, because I've seen the system for what it is and I don't have a tolerance for it anymore, now I'm utilizing my skills to try and find a new way of making a living. And YouTube is just a part of it. YouTube is, first of all, not my primary source of income or will ever be my primary source of income. Monetization on YouTube is overrated. You get pennies. Even if you have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, it doesn't matter. It doesn't translate to a meaningful income. The meaningful income comes from other things. If you're looking for a way out of your everyday life, YouTube is a way or a gateway to get you to that other life. I keep saying things like build digital products, like courses. If you're so inclined to make a course, frankly, for me, it seems a little oversaturated. The entire education market, even people who are talking about how to make YouTube videos. Now, I don't want to get into how to make YouTube videos. That's not what this channel is about. For me, writing a book, giving information that way, being entertaining, providing access to that book via YouTube and things like that. That's the way you make your money. For people like us who are over 40, looking for a way to get out of the traditional system, a book is a great entry point. Create a book. Nowadays, there's so many digital assistants out there, AI and formatting and things. It's been never been more easy to create a book and have people know your point of view on a subject. Never before in history has it been so easy. If you've ever thought about writing a book, whether it be fiction, nonfiction, educational, it doesn't matter. It's never been so easy to get your words, the written words, out to the public. So, I digress slightly, but YouTube is a mechanism or a tool to allow you to go out and do that very thing. If you thought yourself an author, write the book. Write the book, create a YouTube channel, get an audience, get people who are like-minded, and get them to write your book. And by the way, this is a bit of segue. I have written a book. There will be some links in the comments below, so stay tuned for that. I may go into aspects of my book, maybe review some chapters, offer some tips and tricks and things like that. Haven't decided yet, but I'll keep you posted, so stay tuned. Anyways, getting back to the original conversation, the whole point of YouTube shouldn't be to make a living off of YouTube. It's going to be very difficult to do that. Making people aware of things that you have out there, websites, templates, books, things like that. That's what YouTube is really good for. So keep that in mind. So let's talk about AI just for a second. I'll touch on AI in a little bit here, but AI is changing the landscape. Are there going to be layoffs? Yes, there's going to be layoffs. I mean, things like copywriting and administrative tasks and things are so easily outsourced to AI now. It's just silly. So if you're not looking at this point to try and find an alternative to your job, if you think AI is going to take it, then you're looking to be a victim. I don't advocate being a victim. Everybody should be proactive in their own life. Everybody should see things coming and act accordingly. Be proactive, not reactive. With the advent of AI and possible layoffs and workforce disruption, your employers are probably going to be asking you to do more. They're probably going to be downsizing and asking those that are remaining to take on the added burden of the people that have been let go, or some of the tasks that AI can't do that require a human, but the human got let go and you're the one that's left standing. There's a lot of potential for abuse of your time. To use a personal story, I've recently been promoted. Congratulations, me, right? Promoted on paper doesn't mean I'm getting extra pay. Just means I'm getting added responsibility. I'm moving up the chain without getting any of the benefits of moving up the chain. Now, I've accepted this position. I didn't have to accept it. I have a team that I'm very intertwined with and really, really respect, and I want to help the team. This mentality is part of the system. It's still something I can't shake off. I feel like I'm part of a team that is doing good things, and I want to continue doing those good things. And this team of people actually relies upon me on a daily basis, and me moving up actually makes the team more efficient and more effective. So by moving up, I'm helping the team. But from my perspective, I'm not benefiting at all. And I can't unsee what I've mentioned before. I cannot unsee the fact that the system is using my loyalty to my team, my want to help out, my natural inclination to help in situations. They're using that against me. They're weaponizing it. For me right now, the promotion is all smoke and mirrors. I'm not getting any added benefit. In fact, for every year that I've been with the company, I've always exceeded expectations on my reviews, and reviews is a whole other topic. I've always exceeded expectations, and the one year, the 1 year that I get promoted and I'm moving into a position of management, um, I met expectations this year. I didn't get a raise. I didn't get anything. I got a cost of living increase, which is ludicrous because the cost of living increase is twice, if not three times, what our cost of living is here. That's not a raise. We used to get that as a cost of living increase in addition to a raise back when I was first in the workforce and first in the tech industry. We used to get signing bonuses. We used to get, anyways, I don't want to go down the used to, but a long time ago, cost of living increases were given and raises were in addition to a cost of living increase. Those days are long gone. You guys are probably looking at me like I got four heads right now because I'm mentioning that, but that's the way it used to be. Cost of living was a consideration for your employment. Nowadays, it's every man for himself. Be happy you've got a paycheck. Be happy you've got a job. And I mentioned that before in a whole bunch of my other videos. Be happy you've got a job. There's 100 people standing in line that'll take half the pay. And that's just crazy, but that's the world today. So don't get yourself into the trap I'm currently in right now, which I'm attempting to get myself out of, where you feel obligated to take on more responsibility without any added benefit to your salary or your time. All you're doing is taking on the added burden of the extra things that you have to do, and you're not getting anything for it. I'm stupid. Don't be stupid like me. Now, I'm attempting to get out of this situation. I'm attempting to find a better way of living. But until I do, unfortunately, I've got to play the game. I've got to work within the system. Okay, so AI is not the enemy. AI is a tool. You can't be any angrier at AI than you are at a rake when you have to do the leaves in the yard. Right now, in some aspects, in some iterations, it does have intelligent real world applications, i.e., full self driving, things like that, where you've got a robot on wheels that can take you places and think for you. These applications are few and far between, but AI isn't going anywhere. So, what's the answer for people who be losing their jobs to AI? The obvious answer is be proactive, not reactive, as I mentioned earlier, and find a way to make a living outside the traditional system. As we transition to AI and its integration into society, jobs will be on the chopping block. Some jobs, not all jobs, but some jobs will be on the chopping block. But you've got to transition into a new way of making money. Content creation is a great way to augment, if not replace, your income. Content creation like YouTube channels, doing your book, as I mentioned earlier, all these things are ways of getting out of the system. As I mentioned before, you can't unsee the system. So creating content is just one way out. There's a dozen on the internet right now of other ways, affiliate marketing, content creation is just one. These things can get you out of your situation. You're going to have to find a better way. If you have a task or a job that can be easily replaced by AI, you owe it to yourself to go out and try and find something as a replacement income. Start now. Don't wait. Get started. Open up a YouTube channel. Talk to the world about something that interests you, and who knows where it'll go. Create a book, do the digital products. I keep saying these things over and over again. I'm probably going to continue saying these, but I'm going to be doing it through the lens of wage slavery going forward. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't agree with the system, but the system's been in place forever. It's not going anywhere. But if you don't like the system, if it doesn't work for you anymore, if you have a disdain for it, you see your life slipping away and somebody else is getting the benefit, I highly suggest doing something about it. So, just to recap, I'm turning 60. I wanted to go outside and play, but it's raining, so I couldn't do that. This is not a rant, it's a focus. For me, my focus going forward is going to be on wage slavery, escaping the 9 to 5. That's going to be the premise behind my channel. If that interests you, then please subscribe, like, do all the wonderful bells and whistles down in the comment section so that we can continue this conversation. But don't be a victim. Do something about it. It's your life. If you've been on autopilot and you're in the wage slavery system, and you've just figured it out, that's why you're looking for these videos, then get out of the situation. Take steps. Take little baby steps, as I mentioned in a couple of my videos. Baby step after baby step after baby step. You'll go somewhere. You can't not go somewhere. But you can't go anywhere unless you take the steps. So get out there, find another way of making a living. The wage slavery trap is just that. It's actual slavery. It's not intentional, and that's one thing I wanted to mention. Wage slavery is not intentional. It's not like the evil overlords of corporations and companies cracking a metaphorical whip in your general direction. It's not. That's not what I'm talking about. When I say wage slavery, it means that the economic system and the times are geared towards us perpetuating this workforce system. We we don't have much of a choice. You get to choose the job that you want to do when you grow up, and then you do that job until you can't do that job anymore, and then you retire. I don't want to retire. Frankly, I don't mind working. This is work, by the way. As fun as it is, and as rewarding as it is still work. But I get to choose when I do this, when I wake up, what I want to do with my day. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to retire. I doubt I'll ever retire. Most people who are vibrant never retire. They're always inquisitive. They're always learning new things. But to get out of the system where I have to wake up at a certain time, be at a certain place, do a certain thing, corporate babble my brains out. I hate corporate babble, and I hate endless meetings with no function. It is literally a waste of time. To go into a meeting and to sit there and hear the same things I heard last week with a few different numbers, it tears my psyche apart. For me, efficiency is key in anything I'm doing. Efficiency, being able to do the most with the least amount of time effort. That's to me, that's the way the world should work. But this, hey, you've got a weekly meeting you've got to attend. The weekly meeting is exactly the same every week, but you got to attend the meeting, doesn't make any sense to me. Being in an office doesn't make any sense to me anymore. It absolutely doesn't make any sense. There's remote work that's been implemented, tested, and utilized through the whole, I want to say pandemic, but I don't want to get I don't want to get demonetized, or I don't want to get shadow banned on YouTube. But anyways, during the pandemic, we proved that work from home is not only possible, viable, and way more enjoyable from a work-life standpoint. Now, there's a mandate, obviously, to get people back into the office, which is frustrating as hell for people like me who work more efficiently at home. The office is a social environment, and it's very distracting to people who actually, I don't know, want to work and get a job or a task completed. Working from home eliminates that social responsibility. The social clubs, don't get me started on social clubs. I hate social clubs in a corporation. To me, that just means that you're taking up my time. Social clubs have no place in business. Do the job, go home. If you have to be in the system, you don't need to be in the system and socialize with people that you would normally never socialize with. The fact that companies have social clubs or social committees or these kind of things and force you in some aspects to attend these things as part of your compensation, by the way, and I'll probably address that in some other future video. It drives me nuts. I want to go do a thing and come home. That's what most people want to do. The people who want to socialize, by all means, have an office for them, but don't force people like me who actually do the work and care very little about socialization. Don't force me into an office because it's distracting. What you call collaboration, to me and to people who actually do the work, which by the way is a very small single digit percentage who actually do the work in a company, for those people, it's a distraction. It's not collaboration. So stop saying collaboration. It really drives people like me nuts. Bringing people back into the office under the guise of collaboration just makes us roll our eyes. It's absolutely insane. It's a distraction. Every aspect of an office is a distraction. And don't even get me started on the whole viral aspect of being in an office. Being in a tin can with people who come to work with colds and flus and things like that, it's absolutely unreal. I haven't been sick one day since I've been working from home. Not one day. I go back into the office because of mandates, and I'm a good employee, so I pay attention to the mandates. The second I start going back into the office, I start catching a cold. By the way, that's one of the reasons why I haven't been on YouTube for a little while. I caught a cold. Guess where I caught it from? Yeah, I had to go into the office. Anyways, my 2026 mandate is I'm going to go into the office as little as possible, and we'll see how that pans out, whether or not I lose my job for being productive. Anyways, enough of the rant. I'll let you go for now. Thanks for tuning in. Again, the focus of this channel is going to be wage slavery and escaping the 9 to 5 going forward. I'm going to keep on that, so you may hear me repeat myself from time to time, but the message is still valid. Please stay tuned. Be sure to like, subscribe, and do all the things down in the comments. I appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. I want to keep this thing going, and I want to hear from you. Obviously, I'm just getting started, but I would like to see some comments. I would like to see what your thoughts are on the subjects and the things I talk about. So please leave a comment below. Don't hesitate to have a conflicting opinion. I like the fact that people have different perspectives and opinions. So by all means, voice them down below. If you don't like what I'm saying, you do like what I'm saying, whatever, just put it in the comments below and let's have a conversation. I'll probably in 2026 at one point or another probably start doing some live feeds. So hopefully I'll be able to connect with some of you people going forward. All right. So I'll let you go for now. Thanks for listening to my rant. This has been Over 40 with Duff. Please like, subscribe, do all the wonderful things down there. And please, if you take anything away from anything, any video, if you only listen to a few solid words that I ever say, listen to these ones. If not now, when?